I'm delighted to be speaking with Tania De Jong, and not surprisingly, our topic is creativity. Hello, Tania. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So, look, this whole topic of creativity, it's a big one, and as in business, we kind of hear about it a great deal, and yet there still seems to be a lot of people who just don't think of themselves as being creative. What do you say to somebody who says that to you?
We're all creative, and I come across so many people who limit themselves and limit their ability to unlock their creative potential, which is quite sad. And quite often I'll have people who come to me even in their 60s or 70s and say, oh, I've had this whole career and I've never really unlocked my creativity. I wanted to 40 years ago. And they're devastated.
And they come to you asking for help?
Yes, how can I do it now? And I sort of think, what a shame they didn't do it earlier.
Yeah.
And when you actually meet people like that, you think, wow, they're so creative. Why were they limiting themselves?
So how do you unlock it? How do you give them a taster for what lies within?
I think, a lot of it's about actually changing your belief system to begin with. So as long as you keep having the language in your head that I am not creative, that immediately stops you from really realising your creative potential. And we were discussing before, Robert, about this 15-country study that was done that showed that 3 to 5-year-old children exhibit 98% creative behaviour, decreasing down to about 35% at 10 years old and then down to 2% at 25 years old.
So we're basically teaching creativity out of our
That's
children.
right, we're educating people out of their creativity. And it's largely because our education system focuses so much on numeracy and literacy, but quite often the way to get children to achieve better at numeracy and literacy is actually to engage them creatively, and that switches on their hearts, minds, souls, etc. And so then they actually want to achieve better at school. They start coming more regularly. And
so in translating that to business then, so a business owner watching this and thinking, yes, okay, I'd like to get some creativity into my business. How would they start that, do you think? Yes, we've talked about kind of changing their thinking, changing their outlook, but then with a team of people maybe, or whether on their
Yes, well, I think it's very important to start exploring what you actually like to do as an individual that you've always dreamed of, but you never have done. It might be cooking. The success of MasterChef shows very clearly that people have this secret desire to, create amazing food for their friends and families. And then
so I guess also what you're saying, there's creativity manifests in a number of different ways.
Yes,
it's not drawing pretty pictures or
being an opera singer.
Like
That's right, yeah. I mean, I think it comes about in many different ways, but also it might just be solving a problem differently or looking at your business in a new way. So thinking, well, I've got these challenges, what I've always done is not working anymore. How can I start to do things differently? And that's often, I think, a process that can be facilitated by having some good friends and mentors and people around you that are honest enough to give you, well, this is, what you've been doing for 5, 10, 15 years now. This is now, 2010 and we're going to be honest with you, and people need to ask people honestly to give them feedback. So basically you're saying that kind of allow yourself to be challenged? Yes. Allow yourself to be exposed in some way? Yes, and to receive constructive criticism in the way that it's intended.
And tell me, you mentioned as well a little earlier when we were talking some particular books that you think are good for people to kind of immerse themselves in. What would be your pick?
Well, some of them, actually there's a book called The Art of Possibility by Ben Zander. I think that's a fantastic and inspiring book.
The Art of Possibility.
Yes, highly recommended. I think The Brain That Changes Itself by Norman Doidge. And it shows conclusively that even people with serious brain damage, can repair their brains. So we as, normal business people can certainly explore more of our brains and more of our potential in that area. And it's extraordinary. I mean, I've worked with quite a lot of small and medium business owners as well as large business. And once people start to think of what's possible in a transformational way with their business, it becomes really exciting. And you've got to try some things and fail. You've got to be prepared to fail.
Yes, I guess that's all part of creativity, isn't it?
Yeah, I've started heaps of projects. Some of them have not worked instantly. Some ideas that you might come up with now may not be right for now, but they might be in a year or 2 years. And so it's always worth writing things down, going back and looking at your reservoir of ideas, and then going, oh, actually this idea might work now. It didn't work 2 years ago, 5 years ago, but now it might work.
Okay, so we're looking at, from what you said, I'll try and summarise now, is firstly we need to be prepared to kind of change our thinking and adopt a different approach. You're talking about kind of immersing ourselves into the topic a bit more, so doing some reading and some research.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to be challenged, so don't be afraid to be challenged. And then also, I guess, some acceptance there that maybe what comes up isn't necessarily going to suit you right now, but can sometimes be stuff that's good for the future. But
and it's okay to fail.
It's okay to fail. Terrific. Now, look, you have a conference coming up, I know, in September in Melbourne.
Yes.
And the title of that is?
Creative Innovation 2010.
Okay, fine. And if you want to find out more about that?
www.ci2010.com.au. And yeah, we've invited some of the leading speakers and thinkers from around the world on creativity and innovation to help people to develop strategies to unlock more of their capabilities to innovate.
Well, look, thank you for taking time out and for joining us today. Thank you, Tania.
Pleasure.